I'm not living my dream life, and I've never lived one, just because I couldn't predict where my path would lead me to. My dreams didn't have anything to do with where I am now. It's a story of my life that I've chosen to live no matter what. The story that I own and that I'm never ashamed of. In today's video, I will share with you 5 things that might stop you from living your life. I've gone through and experienced all of them, and I know how challenging that could be. And in the end of the video, I'll tell you one major advice, how to find yourself surrounded by things that really matter. So if you're interested, make sure to watch the video till the end. You might not live your life because you're afraid of losing a perfect fantasy of yourself. Most of us do have fantasy selves, and I'm not an exception. Fantasy selves grow slowly and feed off our challenging moments when we envy someone, when we compare ourselves to someone, or when we just want to be seen. Just recently, I've heard somewhere or read somewhere, I'm sorry, I don't remember the source, that almost every person dreams of being unique, of standing out, but then at the end of the day, they just end up being conformists and trying to do everything to mix in and to fit in. The husks of fantasy selves can be comforting, but they're just husks after all. It is better to be hated for what you are than to be loved for what you are not. You might not live your life because you hate being judged. You know, it's a good old story about how to stop caring of what others think of you. When I see articles, posts, or videos with such a headline, I cringe a bit inside, not because people are wrong, but because I've tried to stop caring about people's opinion, but I failed. I do care what people think about me, but I think I don't have any fear now of healthy criticism. Judgments can hurt. They can hurt a big time, and the fear of this pain can stop us from doing something or speaking about something that can raise a wave of non-acceptance and of unhealthy criticism. Over the years, I noticed that the biggest fear of being judged is present in those who constantly judge other people. Thus, the remedy is just to stop being a judge and begin to be a kind and critical thinker. There's always someone who is ready to attack you for who you are, but why giving that person power over your life, actions, and thoughts? Just try to answer this question to yourself and remember the answer. Every man takes the limits of his own field of vision for the limits of the world. This explains many things, and among them the fact that everyone measures us with his own standard, generally about as long as a tailor's tape. You might not live your life because you have a lack of purpose. I would lie to you if I told you that I have figured out my own purpose of life. I haven't. We all are very different. For some people, their children, their job, volunteering, saving the planet, or writing books is a purpose. But you know what? For most people, there is no purpose. I've talked to a lot of humans over my life, over the course of my life, because I'm very interested in this particular subject, and most of them told me that they don't have any purpose. They don't feel like they're doing anything fulfilling in this life. So I don't have a simple recipe for you here. I will just tell you what I do. I imagine that I'm in a novel, inside a book that is being written, and I want this book to be good, to be really worth reading. It's not about thrilling events or unexpected endings, but more about the process of becoming. And I'm simply trying not to screw this novel up. The powerful play goes on, and you may contribute a verse. You might not live your life because you have a burnout. Mental, emotional, physical, it doesn't matter. It's often impossible to stop and heal because we have to move, we have to work, to take care of families, and so on and so forth. Slow and quiet life isn't accessible to most people. I cannot afford to stop working, and I could never afford that. I know exactly how burnout feels, and when it happens, it's just impossible to enjoy living a life of your choice. Burnouts give way to fantasy selves, to delaying life, and to unhealthy stagnation. The most common advice that is given for burnouts is to stop and heal. But again, so very few of us can do that, can afford that. I try to plan to have at least 2 hours of work-free time every day, and also to have at least one day of not working at all, but it rarely happens if I'm honest. I also thank myself for every effort that I make and for all the good results that I manage to achieve. Burnouts often go hand in hand with a feeling of meaninglessness, and adding some meanings to your everyday life is pretty achievable, don't you think? You might not live your life because you have self-limiting beliefs. It's just a different side of a fantasy self, just yet another fantasy, but with a negative connotation. I have a few videos about self-limiting beliefs and self-depreciation on this channel, and I will link these videos up there and down below in case you're interested. In a nutshell, self-limiting beliefs are born from our desire not to feel any pain in the future. We tell ourselves that we are not good for this or that in order to save ourselves from future possible disappointment. But as years go by, we all see how nothing is predictable and stable in this life. Disappointments cannot be foreseen either. There can be no confidence in tomorrows, so why intentionally limiting the unpredictable probabilities? I believe that it's never too late to live as long as we keep breathing. And everyone has their own favorite tools, tips and tricks. And as I promised you, here is a very important advice how to begin to live your own life. It's very simple. Set up your moral values. Just to clear up what it is, moral values are fundamental principles guiding human behavior and decision-making. I enjoy watching videos about fashion and style, and the most frequent advice that is given there is to define your own style in just 3 words: classic, chic, feminine, or quirky, comfy, and eye-catching, and so on. And why cannot the same be applied to our inner morals, to our human values? If you could define your own values, your personal moral values, just for yourself, not to brag, not to share them with anyone, what they would be? Is it kindness, humanism, growth, integrity, or optimism, creativity, courage? Your core values can become a wonderful compass in life. Simplicity, patience, compassion. These 3 are your greatest treasures. Simple in actions and thoughts, you return to the source of being. Patient with both friends and enemies, you accord with the way things are. Compassionate towards yourself, you reconcile all beings in the world. Living your own life is not easy and probably is never going to be easy. But in this lies its true beauty. Yes, we can make some efforts to achieve what we want, what we think we need, but all in all, there is one universal constant that we all should remember. We cannot hide from life forever. Instead, we can choose the moment when we are ready to be found by it. Feel free to share in the comments your thoughts and experiences, but please don't forget to be respectful and kind. This is a safe place for everyone, and I want it to stay like that. Thank you so much for watching and being here, dear friends. Your time and attention are a gift, as always. And big thanks to everyone who supports me on Patreon and other tipping platforms, because it's you who make this channel possible. And for now, be safe and keep your heart open. And I will see you soon. Пока-пока.